Hello, everyone. Welcome to Invincible Sparkle. My name's Katie, and I'm a coach, and I'm sitting here today with Jess, the founder of Invincible Sparkle. Today, we're going to take some questions from our readers. So starting off, we have a question that came in from Nicole. Hi, Nicole. And her question is, I just got a job offer, and I don't want them to take it back if I ask for too much. Should I negotiate? If so, how do I go about it? So my response for you, Nicole, would be that I've never in my past experience, so I both work in a career development center and I've also worked in human resources, I've never heard of someone actually taking back an offer because the employee tried to negotiate for too much. I think we all at the end of the day are pretty rational in the asks that we have. So if anything, I think you'll get respect for asking for what your worth is. Even negotiating in the first place, for me, as I've been in a place of being an employer, I've just been really impressed with people if they even come back to negotiate. So they know their value, they know their worth, they know what they're bringing to the organization. And then I, in a way, almost even have more confidence in bringing them on my team. And so when you do go about this, I think just doing a lot of market research, going online, seeing the resources that you can find, knowing what your role pays for the position, but just also thinking about where that position is located is going to be really important too. So a position in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, is going to pay very different than if we were in a position in Los Angeles, California. So keep these things in mind too. Keep those in mind when you do see averages, and just take these things to an account. When you do go to ask for a certain salary, what you'll want to do too is you'll want to ask and make sure that you have that background knowledge. You'll want to know what the standards are. You'll want to know what background you bring so that that has value, and therefore that is worth something for the organization. So you'll want to bring all of this to the table, and you'll want to really come prepared, having done a lot of research. Just coming and saying, I want X amount of dollars isn't necessarily the best way to go about a negotiation. Jess, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, so I think it really doesn't matter what level of your career that you're at, how many jobs you've applied for or negotiated for. You are always going to be a little nervous about asking for more money or asking for, something else. Maybe it's vacation time. I even get nervous asking for those things. And the irrational side of our brain says this job won't be there if I ask for too much. But like Katie said, I've never had somebody come back and say, well, we don't want you anymore for this job. They might come back and say, sorry, we only have this as our budget, or hey, I can't give you more money, but I can give you more vacation time. It just brings you to the table with a different viewpoint. But it is important to know that they're not going to take back the offer. And to be honest, if they do take back the offer, that might be a good indicator that it's not a great company culture or company fit for you.
Yes.
So I just keep that in mind too. Go after what you want to ask for, because you'll have the regret of I didn't ask for it later, versus being told no and being confident that, I did ask for it. Here's where we landed, and I feel good about that.
And that actually transitions really well into our second question that we have today from Austin. So Austin asked, I tried to negotiate for more money, but the company won't budge. Are there other things I could negotiate for? So when individuals ask me about this question, my response is really, at the end of the day, anything is negotiable. If you want to have a rubber duck that's on your desk for the first day of work, you could technically negotiate that. If you want your door to be painted neon pink, that is an option. But there are things that people traditionally negotiate. Things that you can think of are kind of like wellness packages. So can you be paid to go to a gym and take care of yourself? Extra vacation time. You can think about having a flexible schedule. So some people with families or just non-traditional schedules want to have a flexible schedule where they don't have to work a normal 9 to 5. There's a broad range of things that you can negotiate. An example that I always bring up is parking. So that was one thing that I really didn't think of until the first time I ever worked in a larger city. So I'd always worked in smaller cities. So I worked for an organization. Their initial offer, I had to pay about $1,000 a year for parking, which it's not chump change at the end of the day. And so I kind of came back and I said, I can take this offer, but I will take this offer if you can pay for my parking. And then what Jess was saying is that, they didn't say no, but they said, how the contracts are written, nobody in the organization is able to have their parking paid for. Everyone has to pay for their own parking. So therefore, then I had the leverage to come back and say, okay, then I'm looking for a salary that is about $1,000 higher. So you can kind of go around your needs and be able to advocate for them in that way. Did you have any experience with this, Jess?
Yeah, one of the most surprising things that I learned you could negotiate for was something called a parachute. So it's, in essence, you are negotiating your severance package up front. So if you get to that job, for some reason your employer decides it's not working out, or they move a different direction, or they reorg, or something happens, that way you have that severance package already worked into your contract. So I'd never thought of that before. I know a lot of times when people move for a job, they'll negotiate a parachute in there. But it's things like that that are different. Like, I know when I started my first job, I didn't know you could negotiate for a starting bonus. Mm-hmm. And I remember getting to work, and one of the other similar people, or one of the people in a similar role, had negotiated for a pretty large starting bonus. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't even know that was an option.
Yep.
So really digging into what creative options you can use to get what you need, even if it's not salary, even if it's not just a straight number, straight vacation time.
Absolutely. So thank you both for your questions. We really appreciate it, Nicole and Austin. So if you're interested in the answers that we provided you today, we do have a further extended version of this online where we're offering a course on negotiation. So we highly recommend that you go to invinciblesparkle.com. If you have any further questions, you can email connect@invinciblesparkle.com, and we also provide individual and group coaching. So thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you. Take care.